Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hi, I'm Jess. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. Today I am going to be bringing you a collaboration between myself and Gigi from MVP Nail Designs. I have quite a collection here because this is going to be a project. This is what we're going for, and this is my inspiration up here in the box. That is the wallpaper from my phone. It's been on my phone for, I don't know, a couple of years now, and I'm kind of in love with it, and it was my inspiration for this mani. So I already have my right hand done, and I'm going to be using some water slides. These are from Voza. Is it Voza or Voza? Anyway, the thing I love about them is that their water slides come in two different sizes, small and large. So if you have teeny weeny fingers, that's great. If you have larger fingers, that's great too. This is the stamping plate that started it all. Gigi got hers from AliExpress, and I saw it in one of her videos, and I went to buy it and could not find it. So she helped me find it. She was a good friend and told me where to go, and I think she even sent me the link. So yeah, and this is another Born Pretty plate. I'm going to be using a couple things off of this. And then these are my Maniology fairy plates from a Mani by Me box that I got a couple months ago. And I'm going to use some alcohol inks to create my moon. I'm going to link all the products, and there's a lot of them, y'all, down in the description box. But the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to get to some marbling for the background, because I wanted the background to be sort of a pinky purple sunset night kind of thing. I considered an ombre, but when I practiced, I didn't love how it looked. So I decided to go with a marble. And so that's what we're going to do. And I'm using two different colors from two different companies. The pink is Hillrose from 𝕙𝓼𝓼, and the purple is Ghostly Glow from 𝕔𝕙𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕟𝕟. So that's what we're going to do here. I am trying a little different of a technique. Instead of putting all one color down and then sprinkling in the other color, I'm kind of alternating, and then I'm gonna sprinkle. I mean, you kind of just gotta see what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling on here, but basically I alternated colors, making stripes of each color, and then on top of each stripe I then added more of the opposite color. Does that make sense? Anyway, I just thought that it was going to give me a nicer effect than the usual marble technique, because I didn't want one color to be more dominant, if that makes sense. I just wanted them to be equally sort of marbled. So it didn't work out exactly the way I planned, because the purple was a bit more overpowering than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be more even with the pink, but it's okay because you saw the picture. It ended up coming out pretty close to what I was going for, just slightly different than what I had in my head, but that's okay. So I did my marbling in my French dip tray, and now I am laying my finger in the marble, and I'm rocking my finger back and forth to make sure I get all my sidewalls, and then I'm cleaning up my cuticle area. And I'm going to do 2 coats of this, and I'm doing it on every finger. So it's taking a little bit of time, and I decided that I'm only going to show you 2 fingers, and I'm going to do the rest off camera because it was quite the process, and we have a lot of other nail art to get to. So I'm not going to, waste your time watching me refill the dip tray and lay my finger in. Yeah, seeing it twice, I think you get the idea. So I'm going to finish that up, and when I come back, I'll be fully dipped, and we're going to be adding a smattering or a spattering of some flakies from Virgo and Gem's fairy dust to just give it kind of that fairy light glimmery background. I did not want to do a full dip into a flaky dip because I didn't want it to be too overpowering. As I said, I only wanted a smattering. I don't know why I'm liking that word. smattering, a spattering, a little bit of the twinkle, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna finish the rest of my marbling in a few minutes, and when I come back, we'll do the flakies, dip in clear to encapsulate everything, and yeah, then we'll talk about what I'm gonna do next. And just like that, I am all dipped out and marbled. Definitely worth the process. I think it came out great. I am ready to move on to the next part of this process, which is going to be, just like I said, adding a tiny bit of these gorgeous flakies from this very appropriately named dip called Fairy Dust. It is by Virgo Gem. These flakies are gorgeous and stunning, and someday I am going to do an entire mani using these flakes because whew, they are beautiful. But for this look, I wanted just a little bit of the flaky, glowy goodness. What? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just putting a little bit of my base down, and I'm taking a toothpick and I am just dabbing these flakies on in random spots to kind of incorporate them into the marble a little bit, so that, like I said, they're not too overpowering, but they give that nice twinkling effect. Whew. Yeah, lots of talking in this one, guys. I might get tongue-tied quite a bit. I apologize in advance. So I'm going to let you finish watching me do that. I don't think I show all the nails for this either. I think I only showed 2 nails for this. I'm trying to save time here because this was a long one. It took me a long time to do both hands this way. So I'm going to do my thumb and index, and then I am going to come back and we will clear encapsulate. So now I'm going to cap and clear, or encapsulate and clear. And this is what I do every mani. I do this to protect my colors and my glitters from my filing process. So I'm not going to talk through this because many of you have seen me do this before. I am going to take a break from talking, and when I return, we're going to get into some nail art, stamping, water slides, alcohol inks. We're gonna get into it. But also, when I come back, I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I like fairies so much and what my fascination is. So we'll get into that in a bit too. All right, well, I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I did file and shape off camera because, again, trying to save time. And now I am doing my first activation so that we can get into this nail art. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create the moon on my middle finger using some alcohol inks. It's not a difficult process. I just dipped a brush in the inks and I painted the moon on, and I kind of stippled a little bit with the brush to make it kind of textured, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, that's the process. I'm going to do that as soon as I'm done activating. And I thought I would kind of jump ahead and explain what I was going to do, because it's really not a complicated process. And I wanted to talk a little bit about fairies. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I am an expert on the subject, because I'm not. I don't know everything that there is to know about the folklore and all of that. But what I do know is that I find fairies to be extremely aesthetically pleasing. I think that they are whimsical and beautiful and magical. And since I was a very, very, very young child, I have been fascinated with fairies. Tinkerbell and anything fairy related has been kind of an obsession of mine. Now, I am not as obsessed with Tinkerbell as some fairy fans might be, the Disney version of her anyway. I'm much more of the, what's the word? I don't know. Like the pagan aspect of fairy folklore in relation to, okay, so not to go on a tangent here, but one I have been fascinated with King Arthur and the Round Table and Morgan Le Fay, and yeah, so there's that. And I actually had a friend whose family, her father's side of the family is from Ireland, and she went to Ireland and she brought me back a branch from a fairy tree. No, she did not break it off. It was on the ground. And she packed it in her suitcase and brought it back home to me. But, all those things like fairy circles with the mushrooms and, elves and just, I don't know. It's all that magical, whimsical stuff is so extremely fascinating to me. And it has been since I was a really little girl. I've been collecting fairies. Like I have tons of fairy water slides, fairy stamping plates, but also even before I started doing my nails, I have fairy stickers, fairy figurines, the little pewter ones. I have and porcelain ones and plastic ones, and I have, if there's a dip with the name fairy or pixie on it, I must have it. I have books. I was fascinated by the artwork of Amy Brown and other fabulous fairy artists. I have many prints and books with all of their artwork, and I actually have an Amy Brown tattoo on my back of one of the bubble writers. If you're not familiar with Amy Brown and you like fairies, look her up. Her work is amazing and fun. It can also be a little bit dark, but mostly it's fun, and she's just extremely talented artist. But there are so many artists out there. I have coloring books with fairy pictures. Like seriously, everything fairy, I must have it. I can't even. And this started when I was really little. Like I was really little when I started being fascinated with fairies. So when I found out that Gigi and I had that in common, I was extremely excited. So I talked right through putting the water slide on, but if you guys have seen me do water slides before, this process was exactly the same. I will link some other videos where I use water slides in the description box or in the cards for you, so you can, see a more descriptive explanation of how I do my water slides. But now we're going to get into some stamping. Yay! This was okay. So when I did my test swatches, I could not get this stamping plate to work. Any of them. None of them. Not one of them. I was so discouraged, and I was messaging Gigi, and I was like, I don't know if I can use these stamping plates. I might have to just use my water slides because I just can't get any of them to pick up, and I just don't know what to do. And I was so discouraged and sad. And she was like, do what you got to do. Make it work if you can. If not, use what you've got. You know, it's really, the point is to do a fairy mani. It doesn't really matter if we use the stamping plate or not. She even she even offered to send me her plate if mine wasn't working. She's such a sweetheart. But the thing is, I realized was that I had my air conditioner on because it's extremely hot here, or it was that day, and my AC was on like max. And that really contributed to the issues I was having with my stamping. So keep that in mind when you're stamping. Temperature in the room and the conditions, humidity, etc., will really affect your ability to pick up a stamp. The technique is important too. As Gigi called it, the flick of the wrist is really important. But look, tiny little, oh, she's so cute. I'm putting her on top of a mushroom. Anyway, but once I figured out the correct temperature in the room that I was in, it all worked. I got all my stamping to work, and usually it can take me, I don't know, a billion tries. I was getting them, and like the first, second try each time, I was so excited. I was beside myself excited. So as soon as I was done with my mani, I sent the pictures to Gigi. I was like, oh my God, I got it to work. I did use the water slide on the moon nail, the nail that I painted the moon on, because I really loved the image of the fairy sitting on a branch, and I just thought it was perfect for the moon. So I did use one water slide, but the rest of it, I did all stamping. I was so proud of myself. You guys, stamping is usually a challenge for me. So I picked up this image, and I love the, what's the word I'm looking for? The vignette around it, but it just was too small for my nail. My nail's too long, and so I just used the fairy in the center and the grass and stuff at the bottom because I loved that fairy image. So yeah, and now this is the image that I'm going to put on my thumb. And when I'm all done stamping with the black, I'm going to go in with some white, and I'm just going to add some stars. And that'll be the end of that. And we'll be done. Can you believe it? This was quite a process. Yeah, I used the stamping plates to do my stars because I just can't freehand, guys. The moon was about as detailed as I get with my freehand stuff. So I took advantage of the fact that I had tons of different star shapes on my plates, and I utilized them. So now I am covering my stamps with a smudge-free top coat from Maniology to protect them from my activator and my top coat. And I'm going to let that dry for a good, I don't know, I think I let it dry for a good 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure it was completely dry before I go with my activator. I'm so excited about this mani. For some people, this might be a bit busy, and I considered just doing the moon nail and then like a couple of little simple things on the other nails, but I have these plates and I don't know how often I'm going to get to use them, so I just went hog wild. And I did fairies on every single nail, and you know what? I am not sorry. I absolutely love how this came out. So now I'm activating, and I'm going to top coat, and when I return, I'll share my final thoughts. Oh, but before I go, I just wanted to mention, hang out at the end of the video, because not only will you see the photos of my mani, the finished product, as I usually include, but I'll also be including the photos from Gigi's mani. So hang tight and stick around for that. But also make sure you head on over to her channel, show her some love, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Be back in a sec. Ta-da! That's the end. This is the final product, my friends. And you know what? Is every line perfect? Is every stamp perfect? No. Do I care? No, I don't, because I think that it's so much fun and magical and whimsical, and that's just what I was going for. I am actually really pleased with all of my decisions when it comes to this mani. I'm glad that I did a marble with these two colors. It is the exact background that I was looking to create. I am so pleased with the image that I used on my moon nail. I think that image is lovely and beautiful. And I'm so excited that I got all this stamping to work and I was able to pick up all these little cute fairies and flowers. I'm just extremely happy. So I want to say a huge thank you to Gigi from MVP Nail Designs for doing this collaboration with me. It was so much fun. I enjoyed every moment of it. Thank you for helping me to find that beautiful stamping plate. I'm so glad I was able to get it to work. I'm applying my cuticle oil now. This is Sanctuary by Mystic Witch. And now for the magic of the glow. How can I do a fairy mani without glow? I'm so excited. Okay, so thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with me and sticking around, because this was quite the endeavor. If you like this video and you'd like to see more content like this, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.